Hello, my name is Diana Quatto of shamancestors.com. My mission is to bring the ancestral and cosmic wisdom of the Americas into everyday modern life to help you reclaim your soul purpose and remember who you are, why you're here, and where you're going as you face life's challenges. Last time on Planetary Gridwork, we learned everything there was to learn for the basics of working with portals, how to access them properly and get permission to use them, how to open and close the portals, how to extract codes and keys that you can plant in the earth for the evolution of the planet and humanity going forward. Today, we're going to learn how to cover the same ground and some other ones by learning how to work remotely with the land for portals, ley lines, and sacred spaces. I will mention that this is the 9th and final episode of the beginning phases of Planetary Gridwork. The number 9 is auspicious because it's all about completions, so it's a perfect time to finish this segment of Planetary Gridwork. I know that you will have learned the things and carried away the tools that will be most beneficial for you as you begin this process and this journey to help yourself, humanity, and the planet. For doing remote grid work, or for large or small tracts of land, buildings, or other structures, you can work with your personal medicine wheel, build a huaca, use crystals, create a crystal grid, use a pendulum or a crystal wand with a map of the area, and even use tools like Reiki energy healings. Anything that you have chosen that feels right for you. See previous episodes for how to build a medicine wheel, a huaca, or use crystals by planting them or creating a crystal grid. Today I'm going to share my method for working remotely, which is shamanic based, using either a medicine wheel or a huaca with crystals as a grid. I will start with crystals using the medicine wheel we learned how to build in episode 6. If you have already built your medicine wheel in the 8 directions with its stones around a larger center stone, you would begin by singing, rattling, using tuning forks, drumming, and so forth. Walk the wheel 3 times in a clockwise direction, beginning in the east, praying or chanting and distributing cornmeal around its circumference. Step into the center of the circle from the east and offer water, cocoa, coke, wine, or some other sweet nectar, asking the mother for permission to ask the ley lines, power, and trouble spots of the area you are choosing to work with. Then make an offering of cornmeal or tobacco in each of the 8 directions: east, south, west, north, southeast, northwest, northeast, and southwest. Call in your allies for each direction and ask for their guidance, support, and help. And as a reminder, your allies can be angels, ascended masters, spirits of the land like mountains or water features, spirit animals, plant spirits, and even rocks and crystal spirits. Offer a prayer of gratitude for each of them in advance, and then assign each of your allies a task and ask that you simply be the channel through which they work. Your allies, again, can be angels, ascended masters, ancestors, spirit animals, mountains, waters, or plant spirits. At the center stone, call in your spirit allies for the land that you are actually on and ask them for their support to anchor you in your endeavor. Use a larger master crystal of selenite to call them in and organize and assist you and other allies with the grid work you are about to do. You can hold this stone in 2 hands and breathe into it 3 times with a ha breath, ha, with this intent. Then call in and connect with the allies for the land or structure you are choosing to work with in the same fashion. If you have been to the area or structure to do grid work before, you may have drawn a map or spirit map, and spirit may have given you one to use with your pendulum. Episode 8, if you want to review that. If you have never been to the designated area, use your pendulum to determine what directions you need to work with most for this grid ceremony. You can also research and find a map and use your pendulum on it to determine those areas. So this practice can be used as a follow-up to an in-person visit as well as for a remote visit if you are called to work with an area that you cannot travel to. Sometimes Spirit will give you a map or design to work within your prayers and meditative practices for the grid work you are called to do from your medicine wheel. Do some research on the location that you've chosen, even if you have been there before. It will deepen your experience. Next, connect the center of your wheel to the Huacas center or Merkaba center of the land or structure you are about to work with using your master crystal and or crystal wand. I like to send the ley lines of my wheel out to connect with the ley lines of the chosen area through all 8 directions and then blow with a choo breath like this into the center stone to open the portals. Then check the Merkaba for the chosen area or structure with your pendulum to see if it is spinning clockwise and strongly. If not, you can recalibrate it using the pendulum, your master crystal, and or the wand. Hold it either over the locations on your map or over the center stone in your medicine wheel if you don't have a map. Then select clear quartz points for the 4 cardinal directions. Place each crystal one at a time with an intention in the east, then south, then west, then north. The intention for the east should have to do with vision, new beginnings, planting new dreams, ideas, or projects, and enlightenment for the area and the land that you are working with. The intention on the south should have to do with growth, how to manifest the seeds planted in the east, love, trust, or relationships with people, the earth, or other living beings. The west should have an intention regarding healing, inner wisdom, or the manifestation of dreams. The north is for the intention of the ancestors and star beings, planting any of their wisdom and reactivating their codes for and in behalf of the earth. Can also be for abundance going forward. Once you have your intention, breathe it into the appropriate crystal, saying the intention 3 times. Then place the crystal point facing outward on the outside of the stone for its direction. This creates a spiral as well as 4 ley lines of light to work with. Next, you would choose a crystal like the amethyst for healing and protection. You can select 1 crystal point for each of the diagonal directions. Place an intention in each of the diagonal directions through the crystal. The southeast direction carries the gift or seeds the planet wants you to bring in and help them evolve, so you create your intention for that. Next, create an intention for the northwest, which holds the ability for how you should bring the gifts or seeds of the planet into activation or manifestation. Then create your intention for the northeast, which should align with the awakening and evolution of the planet for the specific area you're going to work with. You may or may not know what that is, but you can still put an intention out for it. The southwest carries the wisdom and healing that the earth wants to receive at this time and wants to send out into the world. Repeat the process for the cardinal directions for programming the intention within each stone, the way that you did those earlier, and place the stone pointing outward just outside of the stone, representing its corresponding diagonal direction. If you are working with a lot of heavy energies for the land you are clearing, you can place an additional crystal on the opposite or inner side of each cardinal direction. This could also be an amethyst point or obsidian, but it could also be a clear quartz crystal. Each of these crystals can be programmed in the same way as the others, but each of these would have the intention of breaking up the heavy energies from the cardinal directions and protecting you and others in the 4 diagonal directions. You can use a crystal point or any shaped crystal for this, but I believe that using crystal points pointing towards the center of the center stone is the most powerful. Once the crystals are placed, you can use your master crystal and or crystal wand in any of the troublesome directions to do more clearing, healing, a tune-up, to activate any that are falling back into slumber, and to plant the intentions in your crystals firmly on the land or structure area. I like using the wand to send things out through the ley lines, and I like using the master crystal to anchor or activate any additional codes that come through the earth or universe. But you can actually use just one of those to do both tasks. Once you feel that your grid task is complete for the day, you need to give gratitude to each crystal, ally, and direction. I recommend making a flower offering in each direction. Place a single flower in each of those directions, going in the reverse order from before. Southwest, northeast, southeast, northwest, north, west, south, and last east. Place a circle of flowers around your center stone. Then sprinkle some water, cornmeal, or tobacco on the center stone and exit through the east. Bow to the west, the place of the setting sun, and give thanks for the completion of this work. Note, if you choose to take the crystals off the medicine wheel, you can do that when you place the flowers of gratitude. To deprogram and cleanse the crystals for use again, breathe through them with a single sharp, short breath like this, and leave them out for 24 hours under both sun and moonlight. If you leave the crystals on the land, you will have to deprogram them and reprogram them again for your next grid project anyway. I generally take them off the land, although I do have one set of crystals that I leave around my center stone permanently to bring in the light from the 7 sacred rays. You can use the same procedure using a huaca in place of a medicine wheel, except that you would have 12 stones and allies around the center stone. You would call them in as a clockwise circle from east to south to west to north. As with the medicine wheel, you would place a crystal point facing out on each cardinal direction first. Then you would place your amethyst crystal points on each of the 4 diagonal directions, but they would be placed between the 2 stones that frame each direction. The rest of the process is the same. You can build the same pattern indoors as a basic crystal grid from which to work on your altar without a medicine wheel or huaca. The process is the same, except the grid acts as your medicine wheel or huaca instead. You can build the crystal grid in the form of a medicine wheel or a huaca using only the crystals or using any other crystal grid pattern that feels right. Some examples of that are the Tree of Life, the Merkaba itself, which is 2 triangles facing opposite directions, or the Seed of Life. While there are other modes for doing grid work such as Reiki, geomancy, sacred geometry, or other sound modalities, these are some basic tools that have in some cases been used for thousands of years to do this work by our ancestors. Basically, grid work is the practice of working with the Earth's energy grid, a system of geometric, interconnected energetic lines and vortexes. The entire grid is based on sacred geometric patterns, so learning more about that may prove helpful to grid workers as well. But every grid worker is unique with their own special gifts for doing this work. Trust in yours and see where they lead you. Use them to perform energetic healing, clearing, revitalizing, opening, or connecting sacred thoughts. Facilitate conscious shifts with cosmic and ancestral codes, linking energetic codes and data from one location to another, creating new ley lines that way. I have found this work to be both magical, enlightening, and rewarding, and if you are called to it, I believe you will too. This is my final session to remind you on the basics of planetary grid work for now. I believe I have given you everything you need to feel confident in getting started, but keep exploring it to discover where it will lead you and enjoy the ride. Next time, I will be starting a new avenue for exploring the medicine wheel through my newly published oracle card deck, the Sacred Circle Spirit Animal Oracle. It seems like the perfect time to introduce it to you and do some collective readings that will broaden your perspective with guidance, healing, and tools to shift you into a higher frequency. So stick with me as I unveil the deck to you with transmissions and tools that will help you negotiate the year of transition that is the Fire Horse 2026. Learn some basics on how to get the most out of an oracle deck, as well as how to use a vibrational medicine wheel to align your life with who you really are. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more, please click the like button and share it with your friends. It allows me to share this and other content like the Sacred Circle Spirit Animal Oracle with more people with more ease. I would really appreciate that. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single download. Meanwhile, I will catch you next time. Blessings and light.